The morning sky over sunrise, Florida burned gold, and the world seemed to stand still as Anna hurried through the stable row, her boots crunching on gravel. The big race at Sunrise Downs was minutes away, and the air crackled with tension, charged by the hopes of trainers, the nervous whinnies of horses, and the growing roar from the grandstand. Anna's mare, Bella, was the heart of her world, a sleek, dapple gray with a wild streak and the kind of gentle eyes that could calm a storm. Today was supposed to be their moment, the culmination of sleepless nights, early morning gallops, and every sacrifice Anna and her late father had ever made. Anna tugged open the stall door, humming softly, expecting to see Bella's head snap up in greeting. Instead, Bella stood awkwardly, one hind leg trembling, her head lowered. The mare's flanks heaved. Anna's heart skipped. Something was wrong. Her mind spun. Maybe a twisted ankle, maybe nerves. She crouched by Bella's leg and her breath caught. The fetlock was swollen, a deep bruise blooming beneath the coat, fresh scrapes marking the delicate skin. Anna's fingers trembled as she reached out. Bella shifted, pain flashing in her eyes. Anna pressed her forehead to Bella's neck, fighting panic. What happened? How? She whipped around. The stall latch was unfastened. There were muddy footprints near the hay bale. Anna's chest tightened. Someone had been here. The reality slammed into her with the force of a runaway horse. This wasn't an accident. It couldn't be. The timing, the bruises, the chaos of the morning, all pointed to sabotage. Outside, the announcer's voice boomed across the grounds, calling the trainers to the paddock. Anna clutched Bella's halter, tears prickling her eyes. She tried to focus, tried to think. The crowd was waiting. Owners, jockeys, stable hands, they were all watching. Anna had dreamed of this race her whole life, and now, with one cruel act, her future hung in the balance. Her phone buzzed. Her mother's name flashed across the screen, but Anna couldn't answer. Not now. She looked up and saw Jake, her rival, striding down the aisle with his usual swagger. He tipped his hat, a smirk curling his lips, then looked at Bella, just for a second. Something flickered in his eyes. Anna's gut twisted. Was it guilt? Satisfaction? Fear? She couldn't tell, but she didn't trust him. Jake had always played rough, always looked for an edge, but this was different. This was cruel. An official hurried up, clipboard in hand. "Anna, you have 2 minutes to get Bella to the paddock," he said, glancing at the trembling mare. "Is there a problem?" Anna swallowed hard, trying to steady her voice. "Bella's hurt," she managed, forcing the words out. "She can't race." The official frowned, glancing from Bella to Anna, his eyes narrowing as he noticed the bruises. "Did you see anything?" Anna shook her head, feeling the weight of every eye on her. The grandstand was buzzing now. The rumor mill spun to life. Trainers whispered, eyes darting her way. Was it nerves? Bad training? Something worse? Anna heard a snatch of conversation. Poor kid, her shot's over. Should have known she'd choke. She clenched her jaw, her pride stinging more than the tears. Suddenly, the race stewards rushed down the aisle, talking urgently into radios. One of them paused by Bella's stall, eyeing the bruised leg. "Looks like foul play," he muttered. "We'll need to check security tapes." Anna's hands balled into fists. Justice. Would it matter? She wasn't sure, but in that moment, she made a silent vow. Whoever hurt Bella would answer for it. The race went on without them. Anna watched from the rail, her face set in stone as the thunder of hooves echoed across the track. Jake's horse took the lead, surging ahead, the crowd cheering wildly. Anna's fists clenched tighter. For a second, she imagined storming over, shouting her accusation, but she bit her tongue. She couldn't prove anything. Not yet. After the race, reporters swarmed the paddock, sticking microphones in faces, hunting for gossip. Anna tried to disappear, pulling her ball cap low, but someone, an older trainer she respected, stopped her. "Don't let them see you break," he said quietly, laying a rough hand on her shoulder. "Horses heal. So do dreams, if you fight for them." Anna nodded, swallowing her grief. She guided Bella back to the quiet of their stable, her hands gentle, her mind spinning with fear, anger, and doubt. The sunset burned outside, streaking the sky with orange and purple, but inside Anna felt hollow, lost. As she cleaned Bella's wounds, Anna noticed a single black thread caught on the stall door, one that didn't match any of her own clothes or gear. Her heart pounded. Was it a clue? Should she tell someone? She tucked the thread into her pocket, her resolve hardening. She would find out the truth, no matter the cost. That night, as the track emptied and the lights blinked off, Anna stayed by Bella's side. She stroked the mare's mane and whispered promises she wasn't sure she could keep. "We'll get through this, girl," she murmured. "I won't let them win." Somewhere outside, laughter echoed from the parking lot. Jake and his crew celebrating. Anna's jaw tightened. Tomorrow the world would still turn, but nothing would ever be the same. In the darkness, Anna felt the first spark of something fierce rising in her chest. Not just the need for justice, but the stubborn hope that maybe somehow she and Bella could come back stronger than before. She closed her eyes, listening to the steady rhythm of Bella's breathing, and let the pain and anger settle into cold determination. The battle had just begun. The morning after the race, the tension at Sunrise Downs was thicker than the Florida humidity. Word of Bella's injury had spread like wildfire. By sunrise, everyone on the backstretch had an opinion. Anna tried to keep her head down, moving quietly through the stable as she cared for Bella, but she could feel the stares and hear the whispers swirling around her. Her phone vibrated with messages, friends checking in, some offering support, others just hungry for gossip. Anna ignored most of them. She focused on Bella, gently wrapping her injured leg and whispering comfort. The mare nuzzled her shoulder, trusting, still trying to please despite the pain. Anna's heart ached. She wanted answers, not just sympathy. As Anna led Bella out for a short walk, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned to see Marisol, one of the stable hands she'd known for years. Marisol hesitated, glancing around before speaking. "Anna, you should know. Jake was bragging last night. Said you finally learned your place." Marisol's voice trembled, half angry, half afraid. Anna felt a wave of heat rush up her neck. "Did you see him near Bella's stall?" Marisol shook her head. "No, but he and his buddies were drinking. Maybe someone slipped up." Anna nodded, biting back her frustration. Hearsay wouldn't be enough. That afternoon, Anna was called into the main office by the head steward, Mr. Graham. The room was packed with racing officials, and Jake stood by the window, arms crossed, his expression unreadable. On the big screen, grainy security footage played. Horses, trainers, the routine hustle and bustle of pre-race chaos. Anna watched, her hands balled into fists. The video sped up, then slowed as it zoomed in on her row of stalls. There it was, clear as day. Jake in his dark jacket, his gait unmistakable, slipping into Bella's stall when the area was empty. Anna's stomach twisted. He paused, glanced around. Then something, his boot, flashed. Bella flinched, and Jake was out the door, gone before anyone returned. Anna felt sick. Jake's face turned red. "That's not what it looks like," he snapped, but no one moved. Mr. Graham paused the video, looking hard at Jake. You want to explain? Jake scowled, his confidence faltering. She probably hurt herself. Horses do that, you know. I just checked on her. The room buzzed with skepticism. A couple of stable workers gathered outside the glass wall, started murmuring to each other. Anna spoke, her voice steady. Bella has never hurt herself in that way. She was fine when I left her. This wasn't an accident. Jake's jaw clenched, and for a second, Anna saw something, panic, flicker in his eyes. Mr. Graham gestured for silence. We'll be reviewing this footage with the board, he said. Jake, you'll remain off the track until further notice. Jake started to protest, but Mr. Graham held up a hand. That's final. Anna's relief was sharp, but so was her dread. This wasn't over, not by a long shot. As Anna stepped outside, the hallway felt colder, emptier. Rumors flew even faster now, bouncing from one phone to another. Some said Jake was done for. Others whispered it was a setup. Maybe Anna had staged it. Anna tried not to listen, but it was impossible to escape. Her phone lit up with notifications, anonymous messages, hateful comments, but also words of support from strangers who believed in her. She scrolled past them, her head spinning. Every word felt like a pebble tossed in a pond, making the ripples of the incident grow wider and wider. Jake caught up with her outside the office, his jaw set. "You're really going to try to ruin me over this?" he said, his voice low and furious. Anna stood her ground. "You did that to yourself. I'm not the one who hurt an innocent horse." For a second, she saw doubt flicker across his face, but then it was gone, replaced by the hard mask he always wore. As the day wore on, Anna felt the pressure building. She passed by groups of stable workers, their conversations stopping as she approached. Some nodded, offering her silent support, while others looked away, unwilling to get involved. The old codes of loyalty ran deep at Sunrise Downs. No one wanted to be caught in the crossfire between two rising stars. But something was shifting. Anna saw two of Jake's longtime grooms, Mike and Darren, packing up their gear. She approached them, her voice tentative. "You guys quitting?" Mike shrugged, glancing over his shoulder. "We don't work for cheaters. It ain't right." Darren nodded. "You hang in there, Anna. This place needs people like you." Their words gave Anna a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, the truth would matter after all. Later that evening, Anna sat with Bella in the quiet of the stable. She stroked the mare's neck, lost in thought. What now? She could pursue justice, press charges, demand a full investigation. But would it solve anything? Or just draw out the pain? The weight of choice settled heavy on her shoulders. Her father had always told her to fight the right fight, not the loudest one. Anna wanted justice, but she didn't want to become someone consumed by anger. As she stared into Bella's gentle eyes, Anna realized she didn't just want revenge. She wanted to change the system that allowed this to happen in the first place. She wanted to protect every horse, every trainer who played by the rules. Her resolve hardened. Outside, the sun was setting, painting the sky in streaks of pink and violet. Anna stood, brushing the dust from her jeans. Tomorrow she would return to the office. She would demand that the board take action, not just for herself, but for every voice that had been silenced, every horse that had ever been harmed, for the sake of a trophy. She leaned over and pressed her cheek to Bella's warm neck. "No matter how this ends, we'll do it together," she whispered. Somewhere across the grounds, Jake's laughter echoed, brittle and desperate. Anna smiled grimly. His power was slipping, and she was just getting started. The days after the confrontation unfolded in a haze, each one blurring into the next as Anna drifted through the motions of life at Sunrise Downs. The racetrack, once a place of possibility and pride, now felt more like a gauntlet, a test of endurance, not just for her but for Bella as well. Anna's every step was weighed down by uncertainty, the world around her colored by disappointment and the echoes of betrayal. Bella's stall became their fortress, a quiet space in the middle of chaos. Every morning, Anna was there before dawn, her hands gentle as she checked the mare's bandages, her voice soft and steady. The injury was serious, worse than she'd first feared. The vet had explained it in careful, clinical terms: bruised ligaments, micro tears, a long road to recovery, if recovery was even possible. "It'll take time, Anna," Dr. Temple had said, giving her that sympathetic look she'd come to hate. "You need to prepare yourself. There's a chance Bella may never race again." Anna had nodded, but inside she refused to accept it. She remembered her father's stubbornness, his insistence that hope was a form of discipline. So she threw herself into Bella's rehabilitation, blocking out the rest of the world. She read every article she could find on equine healing, spent hours massaging Bella's leg, icing the swelling, and coaxing the mare through careful stretches. Each small improvement felt like a victory. Each setback stung like a fresh wound. Outside the stall, though, life got lonelier. Friends who once greeted her with high fives and laughter now avoided her in the halls. Some were uncomfortable with the drama, worried about their own reputations if they took sides. Others, Anna realized, just wanted to stay close to Jake. He still had pull at the track, even as rumors swirled. The betrayal stung, but Anna tried to shrug it off. Better to know who her real friends were. Online, the backlash was even worse. The racing community's social media pages buzzed with speculation and ugly comments. Some accused Anna of making excuses, of sabotaging her own chances for sympathy or attention. Others hurled insults, their words sharp as knives, washed up before she even started. Maybe she should stick to pony rides. Anna's hands shook as she scrolled through the messages one night, her vision swimming. She tossed her phone across the cot and buried her face in her hands. Why was it always easier for people to believe the worst? But there were moments of grace. Marisol still brought fresh water for Bella and checked in on Anna every night. Mr. Graham stopped by with an old, battered copy of The Black Stallion, pressing it into Anna's hands with a wink. "For when you need a little hope," he said quietly, and left without waiting for thanks. Even a few of Jake's old crew, guys who'd walked away after the security footage surfaced, offered Anna nods of respect, silent acknowledgments that she was still standing. The rhythm of the rehab became a lifeline. Every night, when the stables emptied and the air cooled, Anna would lead Bella in slow, halting circles just outside the barn. The world seemed to shrink down to the sound of the mare's breathing, the scrape of hooves on gravel, and Anna's quiet words of encouragement. Sometimes, in the moonlight, Anna would hum the lullaby her father once sang to her. Bella would nuzzle closer, her body relaxing against Anna's side. One night, Anna found herself talking aloud, voicing fears she'd kept hidden. "I don't know if we'll ever get back, girl," she murmured, running a hand down Bella's neck. "But I'm not giving up on you. Not ever." Bella's ear flicked, and Anna laughed, the sound brittle but real. The connection between them felt deeper now, no longer just trainer and horse, but survivors, partners fighting their way back together. The world outside kept spinning, races came and went, and Anna watched from the shadows as Jake tried to salvage his reputation. But things had changed. Jake's wins were met with muted applause, the cheers for him colder now. His new grooms kept their distance, rarely making eye contact with anyone. Jake's sponsors started pulling back, rumors flying about endorsements lost and invitations rescinded. Still, he strutted around the grounds, acting as if nothing had happened. Anna wondered if he felt the weight of isolation too. One afternoon, Anna overheard two trainers talking near the tack room. "It's a shame about Bella," one said, his voice tinged with pity. "That mare had promise. Anna did too." The other shrugged. "Hard world. Not everyone makes it." Anna ducked her head, her face hot. She refused to be a cautionary tale. Late one night, as Anna finished wrapping Bella's leg, she paused, watching the mare doze. She thought of her father again, how he'd faced setbacks with quiet grit. "If you want to make it in this world, Anna, you've got to take the hits and keep moving," he used to say. She whispered the words into the darkness, letting them settle in her chest. Anna checked Bella's pulse, running her hand over the mare's warm flank. "You're still here. I'm still here. That has to mean something," she said quietly. Out in the distance, she could hear the faint noise of a party. Another race won, another night Jake tried to forget what he'd done. Anna didn't envy him. As the days wore on, Anna and Bella built something new out of the wreckage, a fragile hope, born of shared pain. The world might have turned its back, but in the quiet of the stable, Anna found a sense of peace. She'd lost friends, reputation, maybe even her future in racing. But as long as she had Bella and the stubborn thread of hope her father left her, she wasn't finished. Not yet. In the hush of the barn, Anna squeezed Bella's muzzle, feeling the mare's breath on her skin. "Tomorrow's another day, girl," she whispered. "We'll face it together, no matter what they say." As August rolled into September, the days at Sunrise Downs blurred into a slow-motion routine, a test of patience and faith that sometimes seemed endless. Anna kept to her schedule with military precision, early mornings icing Bella's leg, gentle hand walks down the shaded lane, nightly checks by the dim glow of a stable lamp. She told herself it was progress every time Bella put a little more weight on her injured leg. But the truth was, recovery was agonizingly slow, and setbacks seemed to lurk behind every small victory. The stable, once a place of laughter and camaraderie, felt empty now. Anna could count on one hand the people who still checked in: Marisol, Mr. Graham, and the vet, Dr. Temple. Everyone else kept their distance, some out of loyalty to Jake, others simply uncomfortable with the spotlight that had landed on Anna's misfortune. Even the horses in neighboring stalls seemed subdued, picking up on the undercurrent of tension that never quite faded. One Saturday morning, Anna awoke before dawn to the sound of rain on the metal roof, a steady drum that matched the heaviness in her chest. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, replaying the events of the last few weeks. She'd always believed that hard work and honesty would win out in the end, that if you did everything right, life would reward you. Now she wasn't so sure. The reality was far messier. After pulling on her boots, Anna shuffled through the puddles to the barn, shivering as the rain seeped through her thin jacket. Bella greeted her with a soft nicker, pressing her head into Anna's chest. The simple gesture was enough to bring tears to Anna's eyes, but she blinked them away, unwilling to let the sadness win. She forced a smile and stroked the mare's forelock. "Good girl. We're still in this," she whispered, even though she wasn't sure she believed it herself. Bella's recovery stalled that week. The swelling refused to go down, and her gait remained uneven, no matter how carefully Anna managed her exercises. One evening, After yet another frustrating rehab session, Anna sank onto a hay bale and put her head in her hands. "What if this is it?" she muttered. "What if we never get back?" For the first time, Anna felt the sharp sting of doubt in her heart. She wondered if fighting for justice, if turning in Jake, if bringing the evidence forward, would even make a difference. The racing board had been slow to act, bogged down in politics and public relations. Some said they wanted to protect the integrity of the sport, but Anna suspected it was really about protecting reputations and money. She questioned if her evidence would ever see the light of day, or if the whole ugly truth would be swept under the rug like so many other scandals before. Some nights, Anna caught herself thinking about revenge, about storming into Jake's office and demanding an apology, or calling out every person who'd turned their back. But the idea left her feeling hollow. She didn't want to be consumed by anger. She wanted justice, not vengeance. She wanted to believe that standing up for the truth still mattered. As the days dragged by, Anna noticed changes in the people around her. Jake's stable grew quieter, his team dwindling as one by one his grooms and assistants quit. Word spread that Jake was impossible to work for now, paranoid, lashing out, blaming everyone else for his problems. Anna caught glimpses of him in the hallway, pacing alone, his once confident swagger replaced by a defensive, hunted look. For a brief moment, she felt a flicker of pity. He'd built his world on intimidation and shortcuts, and now that world was shrinking. But she quickly pushed the feeling aside. There were more important things to focus on. Still, Anna couldn't help but wonder if exposing Jake would really change anything. Would the racing board do the right thing? Or would they just close ranks and protect their own? The uncertainty gnawed at her, fueling her anxiety. The thought of more public scrutiny made her skin crawl. Every time she considered stepping forward, she imagined the backlash. More gossip, more nasty messages online. More people telling her to move on and be grateful she hadn't lost everything. The only place Anna found peace was with Bella. Their nightly routine became sacred. After the last of the staff left, Anna would dim the lights and sit with Bella, brushing her mane and humming softly. Sometimes she talked to the mare, voicing the worries and hopes she kept bottled up during the day. "Do you think I'm doing the right thing?" she'd ask quietly. Bella would nuzzle her shoulder, as if to say, "I'm still here. You're not alone." One night, as Anna was bandaging Bella's leg, Marisol slipped into the stall with a steaming mug of tea. "You look like you haven't slept in days," Marisol said, offering the cup. Anna accepted it gratefully, warming her hands. "It's hard," she admitted. "It feels like nothing I do matters, like we're stuck and nobody cares." Marisol leaned against the stall door, her face gentle. "People see more than you think," she said quietly. "You're stronger than all of them. Just because they don't say it doesn't mean they don't notice." The words gave Anna a spark of comfort, a reminder that her struggle wasn't invisible. As fall crept in, the leaves in the paddocks turned gold and red, and the air grew sharp with the promise of winter. Anna tried to hold on to hope, but it was a daily battle. She kept pushing Bella through the exercises, celebrating small milestones. A day with less swelling, a few extra steps without a limp, a spark of mischief in the mare's eye. Some nights Anna lay awake, replaying every choice, every conversation, every mistake. She wondered if she was strong enough to keep fighting, if her voice would ever be heard. But as long as Bella still leaned into her touch, as long as there was even a sliver of hope, Anna refused to give up. She owed it to Bella, to herself, and to everyone who'd ever been hurt by the lies of people like Jake. Under the wide, silent sky, Anna made a promise. She would see this through. No matter how hard, no matter how lonely, she would keep fighting for what was right. And somehow, that quiet resolve was enough to carry her through another day. The morning Anna decided to submit the security footage, the stable was veiled in thick fog, muting every color and sound. It felt like the world was holding its breath, waiting for the first crack of sunlight. Anna stood by Bella's stall for a long moment, her phone in one hand and the tiny black thread, the only other physical clue, in the other. Her heart pounded so loudly she thought it might startle the mare. She closed her eyes, steadying herself, then slipped the evidence into her pocket and made her way toward the racing office. Each step felt heavier than the last. The main building was already busy, board members shuffling papers, stable managers exchanging terse greetings. A local news crew parked out front. Anna hesitated at the door, her reflection staring back at her from the glass, tired, pale but resolute. She squared her shoulders and walked inside. The air in the office was charged with tension. Anna asked to see Mr. Graham, the head steward, and waited in the lobby, surrounded by murmured conversations and sidelong glances. Her hands shook as she pulled up the video file on her phone, reviewing it for the 100th time. She worried the resolution wouldn't be clear enough. Maybe someone would claim the footage was doctored. She tried to quiet the storm of doubts. It was time. Mr. Graham ushered her in with a grave nod. His office felt smaller today, cluttered with paperwork and the lingering smell of burnt coffee. Anna placed her phone and the thread on his desk. "This is all I have," she said, her voice trembling only a little. "But it's the truth." Mr. Graham watched the footage, his face unreadable, then studied the black thread. "Thank you, Anna," he said quietly. "We'll take it from here." Word of the investigation spread quickly, too quickly for Anna's comfort. By lunch, whispers were ricocheting through the stable yard, growing louder with every retelling. Some people offered Anna quiet encouragement as she passed, squeezing her shoulder or flashing a thumbs up. Others avoided her altogether, afraid to get caught on the wrong side. There were those who sent pointed stares, the message clear: she was making trouble, risking the reputation of the track for a personal vendetta. Social media erupted. The official Sunrise Downs page posted a brief, vague statement. An internal review is underway regarding allegations of misconduct affecting last month's race. The comments section became a battlefield. Supporters and critics hurling accusations, dredging up old grudges, arguing over what was fair, what was right. Anna's name trended locally for all the wrong reasons. Some called her a hero. Others called her a liar, an attention seeker, or worse. Anna stopped reading the comments after a while, but the damage was done. She could feel the weight of every opinion, every judgment, pressing on her. Even the simple act of walking through the paddock became an ordeal. People paused in their work to watch her, their expressions a mix of curiosity, admiration, and suspicion. For the first time, Anna truly understood how lonely it was to stand up for something, even when you knew you were right. The days passed in a blur of tension and waiting. The racing board convened an official panel, 3 men and 2 women, all with years of experience in the sport, now tasked with investigating the incident. Anna was called in to give a formal statement. The room was stark, the questions pointed. How can you be sure it was Jake? Did you have any prior disagreements? Is there any chance Bella's injuries were accidental? Anna answered each question as honestly and calmly as she could, refusing to let her voice shake. She repeated the facts, presented the evidence, and told the panel about the black thread. She described the look in Jake's eyes when she found him near Bella's stall, the way his confidence had faltered for just a split second. When she was done, one of the board members, an older woman with kind eyes, simply nodded and said, "Thank you, that's all for now." Jake, too, was summoned. He arrived with his lawyer in tow, his face set in a defiant scowl. Rumors flew that he'd tried to intimidate witnesses, that he'd threatened to sue the track for defamation. Anna kept her distance, unwilling to be drawn into more drama. She focused on Bella's rehab, pouring all her worry and hope into each quiet moment with her horse. The investigation stirred heated debate across the entire racing community. The local paper ran headlines about cheating and cruelty, interviewing old trainers who swore they'd never seen anything like it. Animal welfare advocates began protesting outside the gates, holding signs demanding justice for Bella and accountability from Sunrise Downs. The pressure on the board mounted. Sponsors sent terse emails demanding a resolution. The community was split down the middle. For Anna, the hardest part was the waiting, the long, sleepless nights, the endless replaying of every decision. She worried about Bella, about her future, about what would happen if the board decided to sweep everything under the rug. There were moments she wanted to run away, to forget the whole ordeal, but then she'd see Bella limping bravely through her exercises, trusting Anna with every step. The mare's quiet resilience gave Anna strength. One rainy evening, as Anna walked Bella around the barn, Marisol joined her, holding an umbrella over both of them. "You did the right thing," Marisol said softly. Anna looked at her, searching for any sign of doubt, but found none. "Even if it costs you, your job, your friends, at least you can look in the mirror and know you stood up." Anna managed a small smile. She wished that felt like enough. The investigation dragged on for weeks. Rumors of a cover-up came and went, but Anna kept showing up, doing her work, caring for Bella, and refusing to let bitterness take root. There were days when her resolve wavered, when the isolation felt unbearable. But every time she considered giving in, she remembered the pain in Bella's eyes, the trust in her touch, and she found the strength to keep fighting. As the board prepared to announce the date for the public hearing, Anna realized she was no longer just fighting for herself and Bella. She was standing up for every honest trainer, every horse whose voice could not be heard, every person who believed that justice was still possible, even when the odds were stacked against them. The line had been drawn, and Anna had chosen her side. Now, all that was left was to see it through, no matter the cost. The day of the hearing dawned with an electric tension that buzzed through the entire Sunrise Downs complex. Even the horses sensed the change. The stables were unusually quiet, the usual pre-race chatter replaced by whispers and wary glances. Anna arrived early, dressed in her father's old blue blazer, her hair tied back, shoulders squared against the weight of what lay ahead. For the first time in weeks, she felt not just anxiety, but a sense of solemn purpose. This wasn't just about Bella anymore. This was about fairness, about what kind of place Sunrise Downs would become. As she walked through the paddock, Anna caught sight of Jake. He stood by the parking lot, flanked by his lawyer and a few old friends. His posture rigid, his jaw was set, his gaze cold, but the bravado he usually wore like armor seemed to crack at the edges. For a split second, Anna remembered the early days when they were just kids cleaning stalls, before ego and ambition twisted everything. But that memory faded quickly, replaced by the sharp truth of what he'd done. The hearing was held in the main hall, a low wood-paneled room packed with racing officials, trainers, grooms, journalists, and even a handful of local animal rights activists. TV cameras stood ready at the back, red lights blinking. Anna's heart raced as she took her seat near the front. Across the aisle, Jake slouched in his chair, arms folded, eyes darting nervously. The room was thick with anticipation. Mr. Graham opened the proceedings. He spoke firmly, outlining the events leading up to Bella's injury and the evidence under review. "We are here not only to examine allegations," he said, his voice echoing off the old beams, "but to set a standard for our entire community." Anna's name was called first. Her legs trembled as she approached the table set before the board, but she forced herself to walk tall. The board members, 3 men, 2 women, watched her closely as she recounted the events. Bella's sudden injury, the evidence she'd found, the security footage, the black thread, Jake's suspicious behavior. She spoke clearly, voice steady, determined to focus on the facts and the welfare of her horse rather than vengeance. Questions followed, some probing, others surprisingly compassionate. "Anna, why did you choose to come forward?" one board member asked. Anna paused, searching for the right words. "Because I couldn't look at myself or my horse and know I let someone hurt her without trying to stop it," she replied. "Because this sport should be about trust, not fear." When Anna finished, the board thanked her. She returned to her seat, feeling the tremors in her hands but also a wave of relief. It was out there now. Her truth, for everyone to hear. Jake's turn came next. He strode to the table, face set in a mask of forced confidence. His lawyer did most of the talking, questioning the clarity of the security footage, hinting at possible tampering, and suggesting that Bella's injuries might have been self-inflicted or the result of poor care. Jake sat stone-faced, nodding along. But when a board member asked him directly, "Did you ever enter Anna's stall that morning?" his answer was too quick, almost rehearsed. "No, I did not." The room shifted uneasily. Some people exchanged doubtful glances. Then came the apology. Jake's lawyer, sensing the mood in the room, urged him to address the community. Jake stood, hands clenched. "I'm sorry this happened," he said, voice flat. "But I never meant for any harm to come to Bella. I respect this sport." The words rang hollow. Anna watched him carefully, searching for any sign of regret. For a heartbeat, their eyes met. Something flickered there, guilt, or maybe just fear. Testimony from others followed. Marisol spoke, her voice trembling but resolute, describing the night she overheard Jake's drunken boasts and the way the stable's mood changed after the incident. Mike and Darren, the 2 grooms who'd quit Jake's team, talked about the growing toxicity in his stable and his increasing paranoia. Even Mr. Graham added his observations about the shift in atmosphere and how important it was for the board to take a stand. Outside the hearing, the track community buzzed with speculation. Reporters filed updates. Social media trended with hashtags like #JusticeForBella and #CleanRacing. Some supporters camped outside the hall, holding signs. Others, Jake's remaining loyalists, grumbled about witch hunts and career sabotage. The tension threatened to boil over, but inside the hearing room, a kind of hushed respect took hold. When the board finally broke for deliberations, the room emptied into the hallway. Anna found herself surrounded by a swirl of familiar faces, some offering hugs, some nodding in quiet solidarity, a few old friends keeping their distance, unsure which side to choose. Marisol pressed a hand to Anna's shoulder. "You did it. No matter what happens next, you stood up for her." Anna nodded, exhaustion finally sinking in. "I just hope it was enough." After what felt like hours, the board called everyone back in. The chairperson stood, papers in hand, voice firm. "We have reached a decision. The evidence is clear, and our responsibility is to both the integrity of the sport and the welfare of its participants. We will announce the full consequences tomorrow." But for now, Mr. Jake's racing privileges are suspended pending further disciplinary action. A hush fell over the room, followed by the shuffling of chairs and a low murmur. Anna let out a shaky breath, the weight of weeks lifting from her shoulders, if only for a moment. Jake didn't look at her as he left, but Anna saw his facade finally crumble. His friends peeled away, one by one. As Anna stepped into the sunlight, she felt changed, tired but lighter, as if she had crossed a river and left something heavy behind. Whatever came next, vindication or more struggle, she knew she had spoken for those who couldn't speak, and fought for something bigger than herself. Bella nickered from her stall as Anna returned, the sound brighter than it had been in weeks. That night, as Anna brushed Bella's coat beneath the pale barn lights, she whispered, "We did it, girl. Whatever happens, we did the right thing." The moon rose high over Sunrise Downs, illuminating not just the scars of the past, but the first glimmers of hope for the future. The day after the hearing, the announcement from the racing board swept across Sunrise Downs like a summer thunderstorm. Jake's suspension was not just confirmed, but extended. A multi-year ban from all sanctioned races, his license revoked, and his name blacklisted. The official statement was clear. For conduct unbecoming and in violation of ethical and animal welfare standards, Jake Turner is barred from participation in the Florida Thoroughbred Association until further review. Additionally, he is required to complete 100 hours of community service at a local animal rescue facility before his case can be reconsidered. The news hit the racing world hard. Reporters called it a wake-up call. Old-timers muttered that nothing this serious had happened at Sunrise Downs in decades. On social media, posts tagged #Justice for Bella went viral, the story shared and debated far beyond their small Florida town. Some praised the decision, celebrating a victory for animal rights and honest competition. Others grumbled about cancel culture and what they saw as an overreaction. But for Anna, the verdict was both a relief and a new kind of burden. She watched the fallout with a strange sense of detachment, as if everything was happening in slow motion. Jake's stable emptied out almost overnight. Sponsors dropped him. His best jockey transferred to another barn. The few friends he had left disappeared, unwilling to be associated with the scandal. One evening, Anna saw Jake alone in the parking lot, slumped beside his truck, staring into the distance as the last of his belongings were loaded up. For a moment, Anna felt a surge of satisfaction. Justice after all this time. But then something else settled in. A sharp pang of empathy. She remembered the old Jake, before he'd let bitterness and rivalry consume him. Once they'd trained together as teenagers, cleaning stalls side by side, sharing wild dreams of glory. Somewhere along the way, they'd become adversaries. Now, looking at him, Anna saw not a villain, but a man unraveling, lost and isolated, much like she'd felt weeks earlier when the world turned its back on her. Jake didn't return Anna's gaze, nor did he say a word as she walked by. She thought about saying something, a final word, a goodbye, but the moment slipped away. She didn't owe him forgiveness, but she realized she didn't want revenge either. The board's ruling wasn't just about punishment. It was about setting a new tone, giving everyone at Sunrise Downs a reason to do better. Jake's required community service was announced the next week. The local animal rescue, a sun-baked plot just off the highway, became his new workplace. Anna heard whispers from volunteers who'd seen him there, cleaning kennels and feeding neglected horses. He didn't speak much, kept his head down, worked hard. Sometimes Anna wondered if he resented the punishment, or if, deep down, he knew he deserved it. Meanwhile, Anna faced her own complicated feelings. She was relieved that the truth had come out, that Bella's pain had not been ignored. She was grateful to those who'd stood by her, Marisol, Mike, Darren, and even Mr. Graham, who'd become a quiet mentor in the weeks since the hearing. But she also felt exhausted, hollowed out by the battle. She realized that victories, real, lasting victories, were never as simple or satisfying as they seemed in storybooks. Justice didn't erase the scars. The racing community, too, began to change. Anna noticed more conversations about animal welfare, new posters in the barn outlining protocols, and even the start of a peer mentoring program for young trainers. People who'd once looked the other way now checked on each other, spoke up when something seemed wrong. Anna was invited to help draft the new welfare guidelines, and she accepted. Her voice finally valued not just in protest, but in planning a better future. Bella's rehabilitation continued, slow but steady. Each day, Anna saw small improvements, a steadier step, more strength in the injured leg, a spark of playfulness returning to the mare's eyes. They'd lost a season, but not each other. Anna spent hours in the barn after sunset, brushing Bella's coat, whispering encouragement, dreaming about the possibility of a comeback. One evening, as Anna sat in the empty bleachers overlooking the track, Jake appeared at the far end. He hesitated, then made his way over, stopping a few feet away. The silence between them was thick, filled with everything unsaid. Finally, Jake spoke, his voice rough. "I'm sorry, Anna, for everything. There's no excuse. I lost my way." He looked at the ground, then back up at her, a flicker of shame in his eyes. "I just wanted to win. I forgot what mattered." Anna nodded, her throat tight. She could have lashed out, demanded more, but instead she found herself saying, "I know. I hope you find your way back." Jake managed a sad smile, then turned and walked away. Anna watched him go, feeling a strange sense of closure, not triumph, but the quiet relief of a wound finally beginning to heal. The next morning, Anna brought Bella out into the sunshine for their daily walk. As they circled the paddock, other trainers called out greetings, some for the first time in weeks. Marisol met her at the gate, coffee in hand. "You did it," she said. Anna shook her head. "We did it." She realized then that justice wasn't about seeing someone else brought low. It was about standing up, even when your voice trembled, about refusing to let fear or anger define who you were. As Bella grazed in the tall grass, Anna sat nearby, finally allowing herself to dream, not just of races won or rivalries settled, but of a community made better by its trials. Justice had been served, but the real work, the work of healing, rebuilding, and redefining what mattered, was only just beginning. And Anna was ready, at last, to be part of it. Autumn arrived on a breath of cool air, scattering golden leaves along the Sunrise Downs track and painting the mornings with misty hope. For months, Anna had measured time in small victories, a few sound steps, the cautious lift of Bella's once bruised leg, the sparkle returning to the mare's eyes. The ban on Jake still echoed through the racing community, but life slowly found a new rhythm. Trainers whispered less about scandal and more about healing, and for the first time in what felt like forever, Anna allowed herself to look toward the future. It was Marisol who first brought up the idea of entering Bella in a local charity race. The event, a modest fundraiser for rescued horses, promised no fame or fortune, just a chance for animals and riders to reconnect with the joy of running. "It's not about winning," Marisol said, her voice gentle. "It's about showing everyone how far you've come, how far you both have come." Anna laughed off the suggestion at first, her stomach twisting at the thought. "We're not ready. What if she gets hurt again?" What if I freeze up? But the seed was planted, and soon enough, hope pushed past the fear. The weeks leading up to the race were a whirlwind of preparation and nerves. Anna studied every inch of Bella's stride, watching for signs of pain or hesitation. There were setbacks, days when old doubts crept in, when a single stumble felt like a disaster. But Bella's trust never wavered. Each time Anna entered the stable, the mare greeted her with a soft nicker and a bright, determined gaze. It was as if Bella herself was saying, "We're still in this, don't give up." On the morning of the race, Anna woke long before sunrise, her mind buzzing with 1,000 worries. She braided Bella's mane with trembling hands, heart pounding as she checked and rechecked every strap and buckle. Outside, the stands filled slowly with neighbors, friends, and strangers who remembered the headlines and the heartache. Anna tried to block out the crowd, focusing on the warmth of Bella's breath and the familiar, steady thud of her heart. The paddock was alive with energy. Other trainers approached Anna, some with cautious smiles, others with open arms. Old rivals offered nods of respect. Even a few who had doubted her months before now seemed eager to show support. "You've already won just by showing up," one said, clapping her on the back. Anna's nerves tangled with gratitude. For the first time, she didn't feel alone. As Anna mounted Bella, she felt the familiar thrill and terror. She whispered into the mare's ear, "Whatever happens, we finish this together." Bella's ears flicked, muscles quivering beneath her. Anna glanced at the track, a soft oval ribbon under the morning sun, nothing like the daunting courses of the past. Still, her throat tightened. Memories of Jake's betrayal, the long nights of doubt, every moment they'd fought to survive. Everything pulsed just beneath her skin. When the starter's bell rang, Anna and Bella took their place alongside a handful of other horses, some seasoned, others new, all with their own scars and stories. The crowd was quiet at first, unsure what to expect. Anna closed her eyes, drew a shaky breath, and let go of her fear. The gates opened. Bella surged forward, her stride strong and smooth, and Anna felt the world narrow to the pounding of hooves and the wind against her face. For the first lap, Anna held back, listening to Bella, waiting for any sign of discomfort. But Bella was eager, her body stretching with every stride. They passed one horse, then another, Anna's confidence growing with each turn. Halfway through, Anna heard the cheers begin to swell, a rising wave of encouragement that filled her with energy. She risked a glance at the stands and saw Marisol waving wildly, Mr. Graham standing beside her with a proud grin, and a crowd of trainers and stable hands urging her on. The finish line loomed ahead, closer with every breath. Anna pushed Bella gently, and the mare responded with a burst of speed that sent chills down Anna's spine. They crossed the line in second place. No trophy, no headline, but a victory all the same. Anna slid off Bella's back and wrapped her arms around the mare's neck, tears streaming down her face. The crowd erupted into applause, not for a champion, but for survivors, for fighters, for the ones who never gave up. As Anna led Bella back to the barn, people lined up to greet her. Children waved, parents offered congratulations, and a group of younger trainers, many who'd once kept their distance, surrounded her with hugs and questions. One girl, her eyes wide with awe, whispered, "I want to be like you one day." Anna smiled through her tears, her heart full. "You already are, just by believing you can." Later, as the sun dipped low, Anna and Bella stood together at the edge of the empty track. The world felt new, wide open with possibility. Anna realized that winning had never really been about crossing the line first. It was about showing up, about risking heartbreak for hope, about giving others the courage to try. That evening, the community gathered for a simple celebration in the old barn. Marisol toasted Anna and Bella, to those who stand tall after the fall, to those who remind us why we love this sport. Laughter and music filled the air, and Anna felt, for the first time in months, at peace. As the stars rose over Sunrise Downs, Anna whispered to Bella, "We're not done yet. This is just the beginning." Bella nuzzled her, breath warm and gentle. The comeback wasn't just a race. It was a promise that with love, perseverance, and a little help from others, even the deepest wounds could become the starting line for something beautiful. The days following the charity race felt different, lighter, as if some ancient weight had lifted from Sunrise Downs. News of Anna and Bella's comeback had traveled fast, not just across the racetrack, but through the wider community as well. People who had barely spoken to Anna in months now stopped her in the stables to offer congratulations. Some wanted to hear about Bella's recovery. Others simply wanted to say, "Thank you for not giving up." But the true change was something deeper and less visible, a new kind of energy taking root among trainers, staff, and owners. For so long, the track had been governed by unspoken rules. Don't rock the boat, keep your head down, mind your own business. Anna's fight for justice had cracked those old codes wide open. People started asking questions, speaking up, and refusing to let small wrongs slide for the sake of tradition or comfort. One morning, as Anna was leading Bella for a cool-down walk, she noticed a group of young trainers gathered around the notice board. Instead of the usual schedule and odds, there was a new flyer. Animal Welfare Workshop, this Saturday. Learn new protocols, share your experience, help make Sunrise Downs safer for every horse and human. Anna's name was listed as a guest speaker, along with Dr. Temple and 2 senior trainers. She blinked at the flyer, feeling a rush of both pride and nerves. That Saturday, the turnout far exceeded expectations. The usually echoing training barn was full, veterans and rookies alike, notebooks in hand, listening as Dr. Temple walked through signs of equine stress and the newest treatment options. Anna was next. She stood before the crowd, her palms sweating, heart racing. But as she began to speak about Bella's injury and their journey back, the words flowed more easily than she expected. "I thought I was alone," Anna said, her voice steady. "But I wasn't. There were people who listened, who believed in us, even when it was hard. We have to do better. Not just for ourselves, but for every horse, every kid who dreams of riding here." The room was quiet, the silence not of indifference but of respect. When she finished, applause rippled through the crowd, real, heartfelt, and lasting. The ripple effects reached far beyond that one workshop. The racing board, prodded by the publicity and by Anna's persistence, began revising its policies. Stricter animal welfare protocols were introduced, more frequent checks by independent vets, anonymous reporting systems for suspected abuse, mandatory ethics training for all license holders. Posters went up in every barn. Integrity, compassion, courage, these are the real trophies. Anna became a local symbol, but she refused to let it go to her head. She made time for every young rider who approached her, offering encouragement, advice, or sometimes just a listening ear. She spent hours at the rescue center, working alongside the volunteers and even crossing paths with Jake a few times. He was different now, quieter, humbler, focused on the horses that needed him most. Anna watched him from a distance, seeing his own slow journey toward redemption, and felt a cautious hope that maybe, just maybe, people really could change. Word of the reforms at Sunrise Downs spread to neighboring tracks. Trainers from other states called for Anna's advice, and she found herself invited to speak on podcasts and at regional events. She never saw herself as a hero. She just wanted the next generation of horses and riders to have a safer, fairer chance than she had. At home, Anna and Bella settled into a peaceful routine. With the pressure of competition eased, their bond deepened in ways Anna hadn't imagined possible. She loved the quiet evenings best, when the crowds were gone, and it was just the soft sound of hooves in the sand, the warm Florida dusk, and Bella's steady presence beside her. One day, a group of children from the local elementary school came to tour the stables. Their teacher introduced Anna as our town's own horse hero. Anna laughed, embarrassed. But when the children crowded around Bella, wide-eyed, full of questions and dreams, she knelt beside them and told her story, honest and unvarnished. Sometimes, she said, you have to stand up, even when it's hard, even when you're scared. And when you do, you help others find their voice too. After the kids left, Anna sat by the rail and watched the sun sink low, painting the track in gold. She thought about her father, his stubborn belief in doing the right thing, his quiet lessons about hope and grit. She knew he'd be proud, not just of her victories, but of how she'd chosen to use them. Jake's journey was far from over. After his community service, he stayed on at the rescue center, cleaning stalls and learning to listen instead of command. He rarely spoke, but sometimes, when he passed Anna at the track, he would nod. A small gesture of respect, of apology, and of shared understanding. Sunrise Downs was not perfect, but it was changing. And so was Anna. She felt the shift in herself, in the confidence to speak up, the courage to forgive, the wisdom to know that real strength was about lifting others up, not just outrunning them. As the season ended and the first hints of winter crept in, Anna found herself surrounded by new friends and old allies. She stood in the winner's circle, not as the fastest or the most famous, but as someone who had fought for more than a trophy. With Bella by her side and a crowd of young riders at her feet, Anna realized that the real prize was the community they'd built together, a place where honesty, kindness, and second chances could take root. And in that moment, as the stars blinked to life over Sunrise Downs, Anna knew the race wasn't over. It had only just begun. The last leaves fell across Sunrise Downs, gold and crimson against the brown earth, as autumn slipped quietly into winter. The air sharpened, crisp with the promise of new beginnings. For the first time in years, Anna let herself slow down. She woke not to dread or tight-chested anxiety, but to peace, a fragile, earned kind of peace that she knew could never be taken for granted. It was more valuable than any trophy she'd ever imagined. Routines returned. Each morning, Anna greeted Bella with a smile and a sugar cube, brushing her coat and whispering words of encouragement. The pain in Bella's leg had faded to a memory, a lesson written in scar tissue but softened by love and patient care. They still rode, but the pressure was gone. Some days they raced at sunrise, wind in their hair, laughter echoing across the empty track. Other days they ambled through the fields, savoring the sunlight and the silence. The racing world, too, had settled. New rules hung in every stable, stricter welfare checks, new codes of conduct, support lines posted in every tack room. Old habits didn't vanish overnight, but the community's heart beat differently now, slower, kinder, awake to the truth that had once nearly been buried. Sunrise Downs was still fiercely competitive, but more than ever, it had become a place where doing the right thing mattered as much as crossing the finish line first. Anna had become something unexpected, a mentor, a guide, a voice others turned to for advice. Trainers old and young would pull her aside, seeking wisdom or comfort. She answered honestly, never pretending to have all the answers. "All you can do is keep showing up," she'd say, "and keep listening to what's right, even when it's hard." She meant it. She'd learned that real strength wasn't loud or brash. It was quiet, steady, the kind that picked you up when you fell and carried you through the darkest nights. One chilly afternoon, Anna sat with Bella in the paddock as a group of young riders gathered at the fence. They watched her, wide-eyed, full of questions. Anna shared their excitement, their nerves. She saw herself in every hopeful face. She told them what she'd learned, that real victory wasn't about trophies or headlines, but about standing up for those who couldn't speak, even when it seemed like the whole world was against you. "You'll have moments," she said, "when you feel alone, when you want to quit, when the noise gets so loud you can't hear your own heart. That's when you have to be braver than you think you can be. That's when you find out who you really are." The children listened, silent and attentive, and Anna saw the spark catch in their eyes, a spark that would carry them, she hoped, through whatever came next. Anna's influence rippled outwards. Workshops became a regular feature at the track. She led sessions on horsemanship and ethics, encouraging open conversations about mistakes and forgiveness. She visited the rescue center, not just as a volunteer, but as a friend, and watched Jake help a frightened mare take her first tentative steps out of a trailer. His journey was quiet and slow, but Anna saw something real in the way he moved. Regret, yes, but also hope. They didn't talk much, but when they did, it was easy, free from the old bitterness. "I'll never undo what I did," Jake admitted one evening as they walked the rescue yard, "but I can try to make up for it. I can try to be better." Anna nodded, understanding. She'd learned the hardest victories weren't the ones shouted from podiums. They were the ones whispered in the dark, the ones that changed you from the inside out. Life wasn't perfect. There were still losses, still hard days, injuries, disappointments, races that didn't go as planned. Anna sometimes caught herself wishing things had been different, easier, fairer. But each time she felt herself slipping into old doubts, she remembered the girl who'd stood in that hearing room, voice trembling but determined, fighting for justice even when it seemed hopeless. That girl hadn't given up. Neither would she. At the end of the season, the track hosted a community day. No races, just food, laughter, and celebration. Anna stood with Bella at her side as families and fans gathered. Some of them old rivals, others new friends. Mr. Graham, now officially retired, raised a toast to the courage that changes everything. Marisol told stories of the old days, and the crowd roared with laughter. The children Anna mentored put on a demonstration of safe riding, their faces lit with pride. As dusk fell, Anna found herself alone at the rail, watching the last golden light settle over the infield. She thought about the path that had brought her here. The pain, the betrayal, the stubborn hope that justice could still matter in a world that sometimes seemed blind to it. She realized, in that quiet moment, that true victory was never about the trophy at all. It was about choosing what was right again and again, even when no one was watching. It was about compassion for those who failed and the courage to help them find their way back. She remembered her father's words she now shared with everyone who came to her for guidance. You don't win by crossing the finish line first. You win by standing tall when others try to knock you down. You win by helping others back to their feet. As Anna looked back at the track, she saw Bella, her head held high, a group of young riders surrounding her. Anna smiled. knowing that her greatest legacy wasn't a championship or a headline. It was the community she'd helped build, the courage she'd sparked in others, the lives changed by her willingness to fight and forgive. As the stars flickered on above Sunrise Downs, Anna felt the warmth of hope settling into her bones. The story wasn't just hers anymore. It belonged to everyone who'd ever stood up when it mattered, who'd chosen justice over silence, compassion over revenge. It belonged to every rider, every horse, every voice that refused to be silenced. And as she walked back to join Bella and the young riders, Anna whispered a promise into the cool night air, one that would echo long after the last race was run. Real greatness is how we rise from harm, by choosing justice, showing compassion, and helping others find their way back too.